Welcome back to So You're Interested In, the show where I break down an artist's discography in order to give you, the viewer, the best possible jumping off point in order to get into their catalog. On this installment, we'll be sifting through the discography of the Detroit rapper Boldy James. Many of his songs and albums revolve around his time slinging coke in his hometown, as he spins tales that are on par with even some of the greatest like Mobb Deep and Clips. His cool, calm, and collected flow is laser-like in efficiency, not mincing words or exaggerating his yarns. This Griselda record signee has come a long way since his debut mixtape in 2011, both in terms of his sound and his maturity. Boldy's roots run deep, so I'll be recommending 2 albums and 3 individual tracks that I think you should be listening to if you want to get into Boldy James. Let's get right into the albums. Before we get into it all, I do have to say that I am personally not a fan of his earlier work. I'm very biased towards his later work as I just do not enjoy his more rambunctious trap era, so just make sure to keep that in mind while watching this video. With that being said, the first Boldy James record to listen to is The Price of Tea in China. In this 2020 collaboration with The Alchemist, Boldy penned some of his most powerful and intriguing vignettes to date, delivering devastating blows through his firm, neutral tone. The first track to catch your eye is Surf and Turf featuring Vince Staples. Boldy's flow is the tightest it's ever been, layering perfectly on this dreamy, sparse beat. And of course, a Vince Staples feature is just the icing on the cake. Next up is the insightful Pinto. The beat that The Alchemist cooks up is oozing with noir influence, while Boldy paints a picture of his daily life as a coke dealer in the most brutally elegant way possible. Finally, be sure to hear Snort featuring Freddie Gibbs. Maybe it's just these similar flow styles, but there are few rappers that have as much chemistry as Boldy and Freddie. Seriously, both these guys go hard over this bubbly, bass-heavy instrumental. The Price of Tea in China is Boldy James' most mysterious and cohesive record, while still being entirely accessible to new listeners. The next Boldy James album to check out is Real Bad Boldy, one of his other 2020 releases. Yet another joint project, this time with Real Bad Man, Boldy doesn't stray far from the formula that brought him success, and in doing so is able to rattle off banger after banger. For instance, on Light Bill featuring Mayhem Lauren, Boldy raps over one of the best beats he's ever been given. His flow and delivery are as straight as an arrow, while the instrumental never ceases to stay the same for too long, giving Light Bill an unprecedented uniqueness. I can't even begin to express how swanky that beat is. Later on in the project, you get Failed Attempt. This is just another solid story from Boldy as he drops bars over an organ-heavy beat. Last but not least, you get Held Me Down. While Boldy has put out some great tracks over the years, Held Me Down is the best example of what his writing is capable of at its sharpest. The descriptions and metaphors that he uses are top tier, and his rhymes are almost MF Doom levels of great. Real Bad Boldy is very formulaic, so I can see some people not liking it, but I suggest it anyway because it's a reassurance that Boldy James is a master of his craft and he can pump out tunes like a machine. Out go the albums, and in come the tracks. The first track to listen to is Detroit River Rock from 2020's Manger on McNichols. Boldy's flow in this track is near robotic, sounding like a stoic beat poet. Behind his vocals is a diverse beat that is constantly evolving, featuring kick drums, vocal samples, and raging horns. Boldy also lays down one of his catchiest hooks to date, something that he doesn't do very often. This is actually one of his few tracks that I could see getting radio attention, even with the dark lyrical material. Be sure to listen to Detroit River Rock. Next up, you gotta hear New Wave, which comes off of the Versace tape, yet another 2020 release. Boldy has always had great taste in picking his producers, and on this project he switches things up a little bit as he hires the former Vine star Jay Versace to helm the production. New Wave is the best from this collection of songs to check out if you're a new listener. The beat is brooding yet light, mimicking Boldy's dark yet lively lyrics. His performance is second to none, stumbling through this track like a drunk who can hold their liquor. New Wave is short but effective, making it a great cut for incoming fans. Finally, you should listen to Reform School, which comes off his 2013 debut album My First Chemistry Set. I know I said that I don't think Boldy's earlier material is good to start off with, but Reform School is the exception. Featuring Earl Sweatshirt, Dash, and Domo Genesis, Reform School was an early indicator that Boldy would be at his best when he's with others. This is not a knock on his solo material, instead it's a compliment to his ability to blend in with other rappers. The instrumental is nothing to write home about, featuring a constantly rising piano riff and a simplistic drum pattern. Easily the best from Boldy's early days, be sure to hear Reform School. And that concludes my video on Boldy James. As always, all the albums and tracks that I've mentioned will be linked in the description box below. While you're down there, be sure to comment and let me know if you liked the albums and tracks that I suggested. Maybe I missed one of your personal favorites, or maybe I picked a song or album that you absolutely hate. Whatever your thoughts may be, we can hash it out like adults in the comments. If you have an artist that you would like to see covered on this channel, be sure to leave that in the comment section as well. I promise that I take all suggestions into consideration. Be sure to subscribe for videos just like this every single Wednesday, along with the occasional one on Mondays, and on Fridays we have Forever Spinning, which which is basically a video history essay on a classic album. I will be debuting a new show at the beginning of February, so be sure to look out for that. That is all that I have to say besides the fact that you should be listening to Boldy James. Make sure to wear a mask when you're outside, and be sure to support local record stores and local artists. I say it all the time, but if you have the ability to do so, please do it. I'm sure they could use all the help that they could get right now. So, until next time, happy listening.